Hi, I'm Chris. We're here at NAMM 2015. I'm joined by Amos. He's from Moog, and he's going to show us some features to the firmware update of the Sub 37 synth. So I'll pass over to him.
Hi, so we're here to show version 1.1 firmware update of the Sub 37. And the instrument's had a year to mature, and we've gathered feedback from users, and we're now ready to roll out some of the features that were really a part of the original concept of the Sub 37 that are now ready to be made public and ready for folks to use. And so primarily these updates are to do with the sequencer. And the goal had always been to make the Sub 37 sequencer a powerful, interactive, real-time tool for performing musicians. So where, to begin with, you could simply record a sequence of steps and then play them back. Now with Step Edit that's available in version 1.1, you have the ability to really dive in while you're playing, modify, manipulate, and change the sequence in a lot of really fun ways. And so to get into the Step Edit mode, while you're in the sequencer, you can press the bank button and the latch button, and those are labeled on the panel Step. And this is a panel legend that has not had any utility until now, but now it's fully active and Step Edit mode is here. And what you see is that the 16 step buttons on the panel are now 16 step indicators. So when you're in Step Edit mode, you have visual indications of the steps here, and you can go in and edit individual steps. So if you want to start a new sequence, and wasn't too happy with that last note, but all is not lost, because instead of re-recording the entire sequence, you can just select any individual step and punch in any note that you like. So we can go back here. And there's our sequence. And I can now show you some of the other nice features that are available in Step Edit. You can change the length of your sequence instantly on the fly, pick a new last step, and without breaking time, you can very easily mix up and modify the length of your sequence. You can also go in and turn on rests and ties very easily just by pressing. Press to toggle a rest on or off, and press a group of steps to tie them together. I'll just add a more obvious tie effect there. So there's that. You can also rotate the pattern, so you can move the whole pattern relative to the downbeat on the fly. So you can see I've just taken all the pattern steps and moved them over relative to the downbeat. Additionally, the sequencer offers you the ability to record and overdub in real time. If it's playing and latched as it is now, and you switch into record mode, it acts as a phrase sampler, essentially. So as quickly as you have a musical idea, you can just throw it in there, get it looping, take just a piece of it, move it around. And of course, you can transpose the whole sequence at any time by switching out of record mode and just picking a new root note. So those are the new abilities of step editing. You can pick any step, punch in and out, you can record over the whole business, toggle rests on and off very easily, move the pattern, change the pattern length. Additionally, all of the modifiers that applied to the arpeggiator now apply to the step sequencer as well. So you can go into back-forth mode and instantly play your sequence backwards and forwards. You can add octave stepping. And all of these things are happening on the fly without changing the underlying sequence data, so you can just mix and remix and change things up until you're happy with the results. And then switch to a different key, and off you go. Another feature that we've added is swing. People were asking for swing on the sequencer for the longest time, and it's now available. So just jump into the preset edit menu, and on the same arpeggiator menu where the gate length and clock divisions and such were already located, there's now a swing parameter. And so you can set swing, it's continuously adjustable all the way from completely early to completely late. And so you can get a lot of kind of funky, glitchy, weird effects, and then the full range of normal swing and groove is all located on the continuum. So I'll just make this a little bit shorter here. And I can also demonstrate that the LFOs swing along with the sequencer. So if you have your sequencer swinging and you want to add a synchronized LFO, if the LFO was in straight time, it wouldn't quite follow as well. But let me just get up to a higher pitch that we can listen to here. So you can get syncopated LFO modulation. And back to straight time. And swing time. And that covers the new additions to the sequencer. Before I go, there are just a couple of other new features I'd like to mention. We've added CV mapping, which means that, like the Moog Minotaur, you can map any of the control voltage inputs to any parameter of the sound. So that means a simple expression pedal or foot switch can be used to change the drive or the decay time or any other performance parameter that you want to tweak hands-free while you're playing. Or, of course, if you use analog modular gear or anything that can output a sequenced control voltage, you now have the ability to use that to control any parameter of your sound in real time. And in addition to those mapping functions, there are a couple of extra features for people that are using external sequencers, voltage sequencers. You can now step the arpeggiator or the step sequencer from an analog trigger. And with another of the CV inputs, you can use a trigger to reset the pattern to step 1 on the fly. And so these features allow you to take any sort of analog trigger or gate sequence and drive the Sub-37 sequencer directly in time with what you're doing. And also for people who are using the Sub-37 as a controller, the gate input can act as a simple sustain pedal. So you can hook up a foot switch and just have regular MIDI sustain for any polyphonic synth that you might be playing from the keyboard. And just that's another little piece of utility that helps make this a more all-round integrated instrument in your studio. So we're here at the NAMM show, and while we're here, we've got a crew of beta testers testing all of these new features and providing feedback. Once we get back from the show, we'll wrap everything up and package it for the public, and this should be available as a free download for all Moog Sub-37 customers, available sometime in February. So if you've registered your synth, you'll get an email. It'll be a link to download a MIDI firmware update, and a few minutes later, you'll have all these new features in your synth at no charge.